Hi, welcome to orientation. We're going to start with what to bring, and the first thing to bring is your dog. You want your dog to be hungry, empty, healthy, and exercised. If your usual dog's mealtime is at class time or around it, then you want to skip that meal because we'll be using a lot of food in class, and your dog will probably work for their meal's worth of food in class. If your dog usually eats 2 to 3 hours, 4 hours before class, then give a third of a meal or a half of a meal. Your dog should be empty, meaning you've taken your dog out to potty before leaving for class, and then you also bring them to a pottying area before you bring them into class once you've arrived at the building. Please bring poop bags with you so that if your dog does poop in the area, you can clean up. And your dog should be healthy. If your dog has vomiting, diarrhea, or a cough within 24 hours of class, your dog should not come to class. Please contact your vet, but you should come to class. You can learn a lot by coming to class without your dog. If your dog is a female and intact and she's going to go into heat during class, just get in touch. If she does go into heat, let me know. We'll discuss it. Sometimes it's better to bring her to class and sometimes it's better to leave her at home. And exercise. Please take your dog for a walk before class and help get off that excess energy that dogs often have. If your dog is not a high energy dog, don't exercise them so much that they're exhausted. You just want to exercise them enough to work off that excess energy so they can really focus and do well in class. You also have other equipment to bring. With almost all of this, if you do forget something, we can almost always provide you with something. The only thing we can't provide is you and your dog. But you should bring your dog on a flat collar or harness. Flat collar like Floppy is wearing here, the type that you attach your dog's tags to. It can be leather, it can be cotton, it can be nylon webbing. And the other option is a body harness like Jack is wearing here that goes on their body and that you hook it to the back or to the front. Either of those are fine. You can also use a head halter like a gentle leader that goes around over the nose and then back up behind the ears. If your dog has a small head and a thick neck and you need to use a martingale collar on them, that's fine too. We don't allow choke chains or check chains, prong or pinch collars, e-collars, stimulation collars, shock collars. Anything that causes a correction to the dog is not permitted in class. We use a fixed length leash, so bring your dog on a 4, 5, or 6 foot leash. It doesn't matter, whatever you like, leather, nylon, cotton webbing that attaches to their collar, clips on. We don't allow retractable leashes, so no flexi leads or things of that nature. And we also don't allow slip leashes like this one here, where you put it over their head and tighten it. That one is not allowed. So it should just be a fixed length leash that clips to their collar. And then your most important equipment is 600 tiny delectable morsels. So the food that we use is very, very high value food. You want to bring roast chicken or roast beef or hot dogs or cheese, very, very palatable, delicious, real human food, meat or cheese, and cut into tiny pieces. So this is the size piece that you would use for a large dog. You can see how small that is. And you want to bring 600 or 1,000 pieces, about as much as your dog eats for a mealtime. And I usually recommend people bring 3 times as many treats as they think they'll need, because usually then that's the right amount. And if you have a small dog, then you would cut them into even smaller pieces. For a small dog, I would use pieces that big. Okay. And then you will put your treats into a training pouch or bait bag. I like this type that has the hinge where it stays open, but if you need to shut it, it shuts easily, and it's got the belt that goes around your waist. This is another different version of that type. You want to be able to get your hand in and out quickly and easily because you're doing that over and over again. And it should hook, either have a belt that goes around your waist or hook onto your pocket like this one. You can also use an apron like you would get at Home Depot of this type, where you just tie that on, put the treats in, and then when it gets dirty you can throw it into the washing machine, or an old fanny pack that you can just pour your treats in and wear that. And again, as long as you can reach in and out easily, that's the main thing. If you have a Ziploc baggie in your jeans pocket, it's not going to work. It's too hard to get your hand in and out over and over again. Okay, poop bags for outdoor pottying, as I mentioned, and your clicker. I'll give you a clicker at the first class, and then you'll be bringing that to future classes. I'll teach you how to use your clicker at our first class. And it's also a good idea to bring some sort of chew toy for your dog to keep them engaged. A bully stick, a bone, a stuffed Kong. Especially if your dog tends to be barky, sometimes it can be helpful to give them something else to do. Okay. What else to bring is you and your family. You can have as many family members as you want per dog. If you have more than one dog, both dogs can be registered and enrolled in class, but they each have to have their own handler. So if you have 2 dogs you want to bring, then you have to have at least 2 people who are going to be responsible for each dog. For families with kids, if you have a child under 18, I do request that, require that if a parent or guardian or other adult accompany that person to class, even if they're the primary handler, at least for the first couple of classes, and then we can talk about it after that. If you have kids under 12, they are also welcome, and they can train and work with the dog as well. But when they're not working, then the rule is that their butts need to be in a seat. So they're sitting when they're not actively training the dog. For children under 8, what usually works the best is to have a separate play area for them. So please bring something quiet for them to do, like crayons, a coloring book, an iPad with the sound turned off, and we'll set an area for them to be happily occupied while we're training the dogs. If you really feel strongly that your young child is great with the dog and with training, then that's something that we can assess as the class goes on and how to integrate them into class. Now we're going to talk about classroom etiquette, which is very important. So the number 1 rule is to keep your eyes on the prize. Your dog is the prize, so you always want to have your eyes on your dog. Your dog is in class to focus on you, to learn to focus on you around distractions, and for the dog to learn to focus on you, you have to be focused on your dog. And to support that, we do not allow greeting between dogs in class. There's no dog-to-dog interaction except for for puppies in puppy kindergarten. There are play periods in puppy kindergarten, and those are supervised and part of the group class. But unless there is a portion of class that is dedicated to dog-dog interaction, the dogs do not meet each other. If you would like your dog and another dog in class to meet outside of class, that's fine. Set it up with the other owner outside of class. And likewise, there's no meeting or greeting of people and other people's dogs. Again, because the dogs are there to focus on you and learn to focus on you, you want to help the other dogs in class focus on their handler too by ignoring the other dogs in class. And not every dog is comfortable meeting people, and not every person is comfortable having their dog meet other people. So please keep your focus on your own dog. Accidents happen, so don't worry about it. If your dog has an accident in class, you're just going to go get the paper towels, wipe it up, and then get the spray cleaner, the enzymatic cleaner, spray it down, wipe it up again, and dispose of everything. It's not a big deal. And we encourage polite behavior between dogs. Dogs are thinking about what they're looking at. If your dog is staring at another dog, it can make it hard for the other dog to focus. So just help your dog come around and pay attention to you again. Class starts on time, so if you arrive late, you will miss some of the material. So I really encourage you to get to class 3 or 4 minutes early. It's great to get to class just a few minutes early and get your dog settled and get you settled so you can both think and focus for class and you don't miss anything. We will be having classes starting before and after your class, so if you arrive 15 minutes early, I'm going to ask you to wait outside. And then at the end of class, likewise, we end on time. If you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. And I might refer you for complex questions to our client portal. That's where all of your homework and handouts are. If you have questions about things that you don't see in the portal, please ask me. You can find your homework and the handouts at yourservicedogtraining.com/client. So it's the website /client. And then there is a password to get in. The password is capital AYS, lowercase client. You will need to do training between classes to keep up with the coursework for you and your dog.